Love, peace, and light. Christina Ariel here. I'm about to run an errand, but I wanted to say something real quick before I go inside here. Hopefully, my glasses are clean because they don't look clean, but it's too late for all of that right now. Anywho, my sister came on earlier this morning and she was very inspirational. She was talking about how we, as melanated people, carbon based people, vibrate at a different frequency, which is very true. And it was very, I was moved by the things she was saying, because I've always considered myself, when I took singing lessons in high school, with my teacher, Mrs. Nargis. She was my music teacher. My very first music teacher was a Sicilian woman, and she taught me so much. Like, she's very inspirational. Maybe one day I'll talk about her. But anywho, she used to say to me, what sound do you imagine coming out of yourself, like from within you? And I guess during that time I had this fascination with the cello. So I told her I envision myself as a cello. Like, the sound that I make from inside me is the sound of a cello. It's deep in some ways, it's high in some ways, and then it's mellow and deeply seductive and mesmerizing and all these things, right? So I guess if you were to ask me, that's how I see my people. Like, they're very deep in some ways and mesmerizing. In some ways, they're higher pitched, and then they shriek, like, and then it goes down to the depths, down low. But in all those tunes and tones, I find fascinating. And growing up, I grew up in areas that were not predominantly melanated or carbon-based people. So I always craved to be in those areas. Like, some areas I grew up in, it was like when I grew up with my grandparents in Florida, in this little area called Palmetto, on the other side of Bradenton, on the other side of the bridge. We rarely saw white people. So I grew up going to the mall, seeing a black Santa, and everybody was black, including the police force. So when I came to New York to live with my mother, it was a culture shock. And I kept saying, I don't want to be here with these people. Why are they here? And my mother was like, they're everywhere. They're in Florida too, just not the area where you lived. So my grandfather would tell me, one day you're going to be a leader. So in order to be a leader, you can't just be a leader for melanated people or for black people. A leader is a leader for all people. A leader doesn't see color. A good leader doesn't see color. A leader helps the people. So the series of things he would teach me as I grew with him and got to learn and ask questions were phenomenal. Like, my grandfather spoke several different languages, and he mingled and mixed with a vast variety of people. That's what gave me a love for mixing with different cultures and different people and getting to know different cultures and different people. So I grew up in Florida. There's a mixture of Caribbean, I miss Florida, but like, it's changed from when I was a kid. But it was, I don't even know how to express it. It was just like beauty. It was like colorful beauty. And it was like everyone loved on everyone else. So it's like, while I lived in Florida as a child, I never saw racism because all my friends were black or brown. I had people, friends that came from Samoa, friends that came from Japan, friends that came from Cuba, friends that came from Africa, friends that came from Haiti, like all over the world, melanated people. And we all stuck together because, what else were we going to do? You know what I mean? And yeah, we might get angry with each other, but it would die down after a while, or we would fix it, or one of the adults would make us hug and love it better. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just, I wish our people could see the beauty within them. I wish they could see the beauty within them. And for me, I try to stay calm when I talk because I get so passionate, and then the passion takes over, and then I lose what I really, really want to say. Like, I think I just veered off, but our people are so amazing. They're so amazing, and they're so colorful. Like, that's the best word I could find to describe it, because I remember when I moved in with my mother, like, I wasn't allowed to wear, there were so many colors I wasn't allowed to wear, which I didn't understand, because I don't know, she said it had to do with religion or whatever, but like, I couldn't express myself. I couldn't express myself verbally, couldn't express myself through my clothing. I could not express myself because I was expected to go a certain way and act a certain way. So I don't know. I guess everybody gets caught up in that, probably in some way, of how you're supposed to be, rather than speaking through the spirit. You know what I mean? Just letting the spirit run the show. Letting the spirit say what will be said or what won't be said. And it's like, sometimes I get on here and I get caught up because I'm just so passionate about the lessons that I'm learning. So like right now, I'm spending a lot of time with myself because my children are older now. They're young adults. So they don't have all that time to be coming and hanging out with mama because they got their lives going on. So, and then usually when they are calling me, I'm at work or I'm trying to work on something. So I'm trying to segue into how to make this make sense. I'm trying to step over into entrepreneur, working for myself. I can't say it today for some reason. So, but like, there's all these issues that I had as a kid, being a kid that grew up in South Florida, or South Central Florida, or whatever it would be called, that area. And so because you're there in the epicenter of all these different accents, I guess when I moved to New York, my accent was like, I had to go to speech therapy for, like, I think it was 6 or 7 years in school. They had me in speech therapy because it was, I guess they did, to them, they didn't understand what I was saying. My mother thought I spoke fine. I thought I spoke fine, but they kept saying that I did have several speech impediments, but I don't know. They just put me in speech therapy, and I happened to be in speech therapy for 6 years, for the first 6 years of school, which was uncomfortable because I spoke at that time. I was speaking like Spanglish, like I would speak Spanish, English, and some other things, but some other languages, but it was just very difficult when I moved to New York with my mother because my support system was gone. Like, my grandfather was a teacher, like, for real. He's a chief, so he taught people. It was his job to make sure people were comfortable, and he knew how to explain things to people, and there were things he could say to you to get you to pull the answer out of yourself. He was just wise like that. So when I lost and I say lost because my mother kind of like disappeared and just kind of took me away from my family. And it's just really hard. So I went inside myself. So for me, I guess when I speak publicly, I'm speaking from my heart, but I don't want, there's parts of me that maybe truthfully I'm afraid to share. I'll be honest about it. Maybe there's parts of me that I'm afraid to share. And right now I feel like I'm in a metamorphosis phase right now. I feel like I'm in a chrysalis right now. And like the Most High is developing me in some way. I'm trying not to get all emotional. Sorry. But with my grandfather, it was like he and my dad groomed me to think one day you'll have to take over this. One day you'll have to be a leader. So they grew me to be a leader. They didn't groom me to, like, they didn't ask me, do you want to be a leader? No, you were going to be a leader. And it's the same thing my birth chart says too. And I've taken those roles on all my life when I work or whatever. But then there's times when I just want to be by myself, and I just want to be within myself. And I want, what I ideally would like to do is I would like the whole premise of sovereignty is to teach people to be the leader for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because a leader doesn't take on the responsibility to tell people what to do. A leader takes on the responsibility to teach others how to lead. First themselves and then others. You know what I mean? To teach others how to bring out that part of them that helps people learn what they need to lead themselves. So ideally, I would like to see the wonderful, beautiful black and brown, cream and tan people lead themselves, because that's who you are. You're all leaders. And I think we've been downtrodden, or we've been told that we're something else that we're not for so long that we've forgotten who we are. And I think it's time now for us to start remembering who we are. Leaders. It's why we took all that time to be all over the world and go all these different places. It's part of the reason why I don't like sitting still. I'll go a long time without having to take a trip, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, I got the hot foot. I got to get the heck on out of town. I got to go somewhere, visit something, do something different. Like, I love traveling. I used to travel with my grandparents all the time. I love it. I love it. There's nothing better than meeting new people and experiencing new experiences. And I think we've been kept in a box so long that we're all afraid to be free. Doggone it, be free! Get out that box. Burn it, the box. Get out the box. Be free and be ourselves. Because we fly. Fly. Y'all have a nice day.